Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness session. Let's get comfortable, hopefully in a room where you're not going to be disturbed. Just take some time for yourself. Just take some time to get centered. Take a deep breath in and let that go. When you get centered, when you get grounded, when you get connected to source energy, before you start your day, everything seems to go smoother. And when things are not going smoothly, you can quickly get back to balance, to responding instead of reacting. Focusing on what you want. And before you go into what you might perceive as a challenging situation, center yourself, get connected to source energy so that universal love, source energy, the power that controls everything is helping you through. You don't do everything yourself. When you ask for guidance, when you ask for help, when you connect to source energy before you visualize, before you start your day, before you do anything, you have the power of God, the power of universal energy, helping you, guiding you, leading you. Take another deep breath in and let that go. Take another deep breath in and relax your forehead, relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. And start to imagine that you are calm and relaxed and connected to source energy. What does that look like? You can imagine yourself being plugged in like an umbilical cord or an electrical cord. You can imagine yourself being surrounded by a white light. You can imagine yourself being enfolded in the arms of your guardian angel, or walking hand in hand with Jesus on the beach. Whatever your mind makes up, whatever feels good to you. When you visualize, you want it to be a picture in your mind that you love, not something that scares you or worries you or is currently happening, but something that you would truly choose. Let's spend a little bit of time writing out our goal, our resolutions, our intentions, our desires. If you're not yet in a really good space, write out something that you're grateful for. When you're doing your writing, make sure it's always positive. Don't write down, this is what I don't want. Write down the opposite. If you can't think of what you do want, write the opposite of what you don't want. However you're writing, whether it's your big, big, big goal that you want to accomplish for this year, or a gratitude list. Write it out in positive language and get into that feeling of success, of gratitude, of perfect health and love and abundance and prosperity in all areas of your life. Good morning again, and thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness. Yesterday, I started to read Bob Proctor's Purpose, Visions, and Goals article. And he says, do you have a definite purpose that guides your ambitions, visions, and goals? Napoleon Hill says, what a different story people would tell if they would adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all-consuming purpose. And then Bob talks about how he went into trade school because his teachers didn't think he was going to make it in an academic college. So he went to trade school where he didn't really want to be, but he did what other people said he should do and cut his thumb off in the bandsaw in the trade school. So that was not his purpose. That was not his passion. That was not what he wanted to do. And he said he was going in the wrong direction and he wasn't on purpose. So when we're deciding on our big goal, when we're looking at what do I want in my life, when you set a huge goal that you have no idea how you're going to be able to possibly get it, the first step is visualizing it. And what would it be like? And what would you love? And then as things move along and you start to feel distant from your goal and you feel like it's never going to happen and you feel like maybe I should make my goal smaller, it's not really for me, that's why we continue to do the work over and over and over and over so that you stay committed to your goal, that you fall in love with it, so that on days that it's hard, that it's challenging, it's like being in a really good marriage. It's not that you never have problems, it's that you can more easily overcome your barriers, your problems, your issues, the dark days, and still have that big, beautiful goal because it's planted in your heart. So that's what we're doing when we're going through thinking into results, is we're going step by step with what's the goal, and then doing the exercises. And then in the morning, when we do this morning mindfulness, we're getting into the vibrational energy of the goal. We're in harmony with our vision. We're raising our vibrational energy. We're getting in tune with who we are at the core. A co-creator with God, created in God's image, bringing forward what's best for our own life. And when we tell other people, sometimes they don't think that that's what's best, especially if it's a parent or a best friend or someone that you're close to. They want to talk you out of it because they think they know what's best for you and they're worried about you've gone crazy, you're doing something that's way out there. They're just trying to protect you. You must recognize the unique gift of you. You are an individualized, phenomenal expression of life. If you start focusing on the mysteries, the spectacular parts of you that come together in perfect harmony in order to just accomplish the writing of your name, you begin to see the wonderful, complex person that you are. And then I'm going to carry on with Bob's article. He said, add to that the ability to paint in oils, the ability to put together a car engine, or program systems that make thousands of people's lives easier. Add to that the ability to play the piano without looking at a note. add and subtract reams of numbers, speak from a platform, match a person's hairstyle to their personality and lifestyle, fashion chairs and tables from a log of wood, put to paper a blueprint in your mind that becomes an architectural masterpiece, and you begin to discover the absolute awesome uniqueness that resides only within you. You're not on this planet to live someone else's dream. What is it that you love to do? Don't bother yourself with what anyone else says. That's why you're here. As I've already explained, when you're not on purpose, odds are that you're not going to build in the right direction. But equally as important is this. When you believe you've found your purpose, do not allow yourself to be dissuaded by others' opinions. Don't allow them to tell you in which direction to build. After about 5 years of working at Nightingale Conant, I landed on an alarmingly great idea. I was going to do this on my own. I just wanted to do what my close friend and mentor Earl Nightingale was doing, but I wanted to do it under my own name and with the education and knowledge I'd been personally acquiring over all the years. So I got a tape recorder, one of those old-fashioned kinds with the big buttons and the big red record button. You put a tape in it and click, 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 away it goes while you talk into the microphone, that kind of thing. And I sat down and I recorded my own thoughts on the subject of personal growth. I needed someone to give me feedback, so I called up a good friend and told him I had a great idea I wanted to share with him. I took the tape and the recorder up to his house, turned it on, and well, Joel Goldsmith's phrase, thunder of silence, couldn't have fit the situation better. As the tape played on, the pressure in that room became enormous. It was my friend's embarrassment for me. I eventually turned the tape recorder off and I mumbled, well, it was just an idea. As I was driving back to my house, it hit me. I was letting him steal my dream. This was my dream. I wasn't going to let him steal my dream. And that's when it clicked in my mind. I can do this. If I had listened to him, I would have fallen off my life's purpose. I would have kept obtaining goals and building long-term visions in my head, but I would have been going in the absolute wrong direction. See, if you're not on purpose, everything is off course. When you have the right purpose, you'll easily develop the right vision. When you have the right vision, you'll quickly recognize the right goal. Purpose leads to vision. Vision leads to the goal. Once you've found your purpose, how do you express it? By creating and maintaining a vision. Vision is what you do with your life. Vision is the strategy behind the fulfillment of your purpose. You accomplish this strategy by creating several short-term goals to keep you on course. Van Gogh once said, I dream my painting and then I paint my dream. We all know that Van Gogh knew his purpose in life. His vision then was the completion of his paintings, each painting uniquely different from the other. How he put his vision to canvas involved a series of short-term goals. Bob goes on to say, I work with a young woman who builds websites. Now, for most people, putting websites together can make your head hurt so bad you just quit and decide to go do something else, anything else. Websites are complicated, and unlike a house or an office building, you can build the whole thing before you realize you forgot to put in the plumbing. Many websites are not really functional. But when this woman starts working on someone's website, she gets a feeling for what the client is looking for and sees the site's entire blueprint in her head. Then she just follows the blueprint. See, she has the vision in her head. What she does get from vision, what she does to get from vision to a completed website is a series of short-term goals between herself and the programmer. Vision is the key connector between one's daily goals and one's lifetime purpose. Fix on your vision and then plot your course. This summer, I had a wedding to attend in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I had a few days to spare, and my wife and I enjoy each other's company, so I suggested to Linda that we drive instead of flying. She readily agreed and started collecting the maps we'd need for the trip. As we plotted the course, we would be driving from Toronto to Detroit, Detroit to Cincinnati, Cincinnati to Lexington, Lexington to Louisville, and then into Gatlinburg. We were plotting the vision, you see, to get us from point A to point B. When we got in the car to begin the trip, which city was I thinking of? Detroit. I had to get to Detroit first. If I missed Detroit, there'd be a good chance we wouldn't find our way to the wedding at all. Detroit was first on my list. That was my A goal. After Detroit was accomplished, Cincinnati became my goal, and so on, all the way to my final destination, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I've had people come up and tell me that they've given up on their big dreams because they never seem to get closer, no matter what they envisioned or no matter what they tried. The error they're making is that they're looking for their Gatlinburg, Tennessee, while they're still sitting in the driveway in Toronto. In many instances, they're writing their Gatlinburg goal on a goal card I've given them, or they're writing it in their journal somewhere. This is all well and good, but if you're not also plotting your course to get where you are to where you want to be, if you're not figuring out the first goal for Detroit, then following that plot line forward in progression, in progressive order, you're going to end up in Montreal instead. You've got to plot the course. Figure out what you need to do between here and there and make those your goals. Once you have the course plotted, though, there are 3 very distinct rules of thumb I want you to remember. I'll go into the detail tomorrow, but he says, first, just because you've plotted the course doesn't mean you can put your whole plan on autopilot. Second, don't get so carried away with the details of plotting the action steps within your vision that you don't get it ever out of your driveway. And third, don't be so intent on motoring to Detroit that you miss the scenery along the way. So tomorrow I'll take you deeper into the article of purpose, vision, and goals. And just know that first you need to set that big goal. What is your purpose? What is your big C goal? What is the all-consuming passion that you're planting from your mind to your heart to your physical reality? Thank you for joining me in this morning's morning mindfulness. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.